So it's definitely a lot of situations that it's an eye-opener that people really got to learn from.
Years have passed, bank accounts are closed, Suge's been to prison, and so...
Put accusations on somebody, be able to sit down and look him in his eyes, right now, and say, yeah, I said that, I did that.
It seems like timing couldn't be better for notorious Suge Knight, and although the incarcerated music giant wasn't intending to rat his industry enemies out, it's been largely speculated that he recently came clean and spilled his biggest secret about who eliminated rap legends of the 90s Tupac, Shakur and Biggie Smalls, to the police. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. Looking at the crazily long jail time that Suge Knight was hit with for his crimes, it may seem that the infamous music producer embraced his pitiful future behind the bars. But you guys were thinking so well, you don't know this person well. Suge Knight finally decided to prove that he's a valuable asset to the police, and despite his initial reluctance to work with the justice system.
If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
It seems like the notorious music producer has changed his mind, and timing couldn't be better for him because with new evidence coming into play and at least one of the cases being reopened, Suge Knight may now cut a very lucrative deal for himself with investigators and finally get rid of his orange jumpsuit. Now, the police is highly interested to work with Suge because this man knows a lot of sinister industry secrets, and mainly, he was in the car with Tupac during that infamous night on September 7, 1996, so he basically witnessed the shooting. And while he could solve this case with just one phrase, he never actually spoke about that until now. And apparently, Suge was waiting for this information not to be harmful for himself. As one of the former gang leaders said, one thing people don't understand, Suge know a whole lot, knows everything. But Suge can't talk because if Suge talked, Suge implicated himself in 99s of the B's that was going on. So Suge can never talk. Suge ain't saying stuff to nothing about nobody. But Suge's current lifestyle allows him to finally open his mouth and cut himself a very good deal. So it was reported that after new evidence found in Dwayne Keefe Davis's house, the notorious music giant came forward with his honest testimony.
Told them that there was going to be some sort of material evidence in this house to go and search.
Well, Suge Knight has all the reasons to want the justice being finally served because you may guess who he is accusing of this crime. It's been long speculated, and not only by netizens, but police officers who conducted the independent investigation that music mogul Diddy played a huge role in eliminating Tupac.
Why hasn't this case been solved?
Well, if you were to ask me, I would say it is solved. I would say that it's solved but unprosecuted.
So, when the coast seems to be clear and more details of this crime is coming to the surface, the imprisoned ex-CEO of Death Row Records, who was in the car with Tupac Shakur when he was shot, claims he knows exactly who killed him and why. And apparently, the answer of who could plan Tupac's demise in Las Vegas is not much of a secret in the music industry, but it feels like it's one of the most guarded truths in the show business. And despite multiple allegations and investigations for the lack of evidence, the real culprit has never been punished. Yet Suge Knight claims everything's gonna change after the world hears his side of events, and Diddy should prepare for what's coming for him.
He was in a situation where he goes to prison. And you know the rumors, you know the situation.
So, during that night in question, Suge was driving Tupac along the Las Vegas Strip area when a shooter in a passing white Cadillac opened fire at them. When initially talking to the police immediately after the shooting, Suge painted a terrifying and grim picture of the final moments of Tupac. As he described, we was having conversation. We heard some gunshots. We looked to the right of us. Tupac was like trying to get to the back seat. I grabbed him and pulled him down. It was about 15 gunshots. They hit my head. I grabbed him, pulled him down. In his voluntary statement, Suge claimed he never saw the murderers, and as the police officers later claimed, his interview in 243 pages didn't provide any helpful information for this investigation. And now Suge claims that every single report was intentionally misleading to cover the traces of a real culprit.
Consistent is the amount of documentaries that we have gotten, the amount of new reports that kind of lead to nothing, and the conspiracy theories and more confusion.
It's clear that Suge Knight was eager to spill the beans for decades because that night he had lost his artist that was a rap legend back in the days. And after a drive, by shooting Tupac, spent 6 days in intensive care, sedated, and connected to the tubes. Official accounts from doctors and police say the rapper slipped into unconsciousness as he was put in an ambulance and never woke up. As those who visited him in the hospital recall, it was painful and horrifying to see the young rapper in this state, and not many of them could stand the sight. And not many of them could stand the sight of Tupac being in such a messy condition.
Feeling like it's gonna be alright until we go to the hospital and see that it ain't alright. He got tubes in him, and it's like, when I walked in, I could just feel like he wasn't even there.
As the official report says, Tupac had a lung removed after 2 bullets hit his chest, and he spent 6 days in coma before passing away on September 13 from respiratory failure and cardiac arrest. And while the identity of the person who pulled the trigger was revealed, Suge Knight is saying that the real villain of this hideous crime is still walking free. And with his new testimony, he is going to put an end to this. Many fans are impatient to hear Suge's long-awaited statement, and it seems like none of them are surprised to hear a familiar name tied to this story. As one person commented, Diddy is the one name that keeps coming up over and over. He's the common denominator he needs investigating. And another user added, I honestly don't understand how Puffy managed to stay away from the heat of this, given that he was so heavily involved. Now, Suge may know a lot of secrets of the notorious music mogul, and apparently, if the police finds his testimony valuable enough, we can finally witness Diddy facing the wrath of justice for his alleged crimes. Because it's not only Tupac's demise that is being connected to Diddy. Another rap legend of the 90s, Biggie Smalls, was similarly gunned down a few months after Tupac's tragic incident. And guess what? The culprit behind this crime also hasn't been found, but Suge Knight definitely has a say in this story as well.
Because if Biggie wouldn't have left, Puffy wouldn't have been a rapper. So Puffy benefited more by Biggie not being here than Biggie being here.
Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls, was gunned down at a stoplight in Los Angeles in March 1997. Wallace's demise came only weeks before his new album was scheduled to be released, and it seems to Suge that Biggie's producer Diddy earned a lot of money since even losing his protege didn't stop the music producer from dropping the album. Now, of course, the album is considered to be a classic. After its release, it sold 700,000 hard copies almost immediately, jumping from 176 to 1 on the Billboard 200 in the space of a week. And as Suge Knight is convinced now, someone in Bay Boy Records was silently celebrating reaching these heights, even though the main triumphant was 6 feet underground.
When Biggie passed, it's about Puffy getting the opportunity to become a rapper.
It's been long alleged that Suge Knight was the one who paid a hitman to execute Biggie Smalls. After narrowly avoiding being fatally shot in a tragic incident that took the life of Tupac, Suge Knight allegedly retaliated by hiring a gang member to get rid of Biggie. The hitman gunned down the East Coast rapper after he was traveling home from a party thrown by Vibe magazine in Los Angeles. But as Suge says, this situation wouldn't do him any service because he was working on luring Biggie to work for him. It was later confirmed by Diddy's ex-bodyguard that the late rapper had a deal, which could earn him $60 million, while Biggie's mom once confessed that he was getting pitiful for his talent allowance of $25,000 in Bay Boy. As she said, the truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. Now it's up to the police to connect all dots in the story and use the newly found evidence against Diddy, and hopefully more of his criminal activities will be exposed. And with Suge Knight's warning message to his industry enemy, it feels more possible than ever.
If you live in a fast life, you come into prison. There's no way you can be off the block and hang out and don't come to penitentiary.
Many netizens are wondering how Diddy is going to react to the news of the biggest player and actual witness coming forward to reveal more truth about his crimes. And it seems like we're going to witness the historical moment of another criminal element going down. As one person commented, this isn't the first time that I heard Puffy's name in connection to Biggie and Pac being gunned down. And another user added, Puffy knows what happened to both Tupac and Biggie, and after hearing and seeing all of these different reports, I'm convinced he had something to do with them being gunned down. Sad situation. However, with new evidence in their possession and testimony from Suge Knight, the police may finally connect Diddy's despicable acts to these two crimes, and that's everything the music world is praying now for. And what do you think about this, guys? Do you believe Suge Knight? And will Diddy's involvement in these two incidents be finally proved? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the sinister things that happen in the music industry. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video.